This is Ken Loomer, and I'm going to be talking about this custom-made snare drum that Johnny Ollis from Jonesboro, Arkansas made for me. Now this particular snare drum is a 5.5 by 14-inch size. Now for a little history about Johnny, he lives in Jonesboro, Arkansas, like I mentioned, and he happened to buy out all the Slingerland parts and drums that were left by the Slingerland drum company a couple of years ago. He bought the entire warehouse, so he happened to have all the remaining stock that was in that warehouse, including a whole bunch of Radio King snare drums, drum sets, Gene Krupa signature sets, all kinds of Slingerland parts, shells, and he sold everything off, all the Radio King snare drums and all the drum sets, and he just had a few parts that he had for sale on eBay, and that's how I met him. And after we talked, and he mentioned that he was a drum builder. He has his own drum company, the Biggie Drum Company, and he makes custom snare drums. And he made this custom snare drum for me out of new old stock Slingerland parts. Of course, the first part you need is the shell. So he had a Conway Slingerland 5.5 by 14-inch blank shell, which was made out of 10-ply maple. And what he did with that shell, he did his own barren edges on the shell, and he did his own snare bed. And this has a very unique barren edge. Let me see if you can see it right here, close up here. What he did for the outside, he rounded the edges. He rounded the edges up to a 45 degrees. So everything is rounded out here. So with a round drum head, it fits absolutely perfect on this barren edge, and the drum head just sort of floats on this rounded barren edge, which is a beautiful design. And then what Johnny also did, his own thinking, he put these strainers, which is called the Conway strainer, which was the last strainer that Slingerland made, and he put them on both sides. Both sides, so it's a dual strainer, and you're able to adjust the tension so that the snare wires is completely even with the snare head, or you can make your own adjustments. If you want like this side like a little bit looser and this side maybe a little bit tighter, you can have your own snare sound. So that's a pretty unique design that Johnny did for this snare drum. And like I said, all the parts are new old stock Slingerland. Of course, he put on the Sound King lugs. This is an 8-lug drum. And of course the Stick Saver hoops, top and bottom, and he even had the Marine Pearl, the Slingerland Marine Pearl. It's the original one, which came from the warehouse that he bought, so he put that on, and that's a beautiful blue tint to this pearl, just the way Slingerland did it in the 70s. So it's a gorgeous pearl. So this snare drum has a very unique barren edge. He put on his own rounded snare bed, and of course it has the dual strainer on both sides. Very unique. And of course, like I always do, part 1 I talk about the snare drum. Part 2 I will be playing it, so you'll be able to hear this fantastic sound of the snare drum. Very sensitive. Projects very well because of the 10-ply all maple shell, and because of the barren edge that the Johnny Ollis did. I'm going to take this off the Slingerland stand here, so you'll be able to see the inside of the shell here. Let's put this right over here, and yeah, you should be able to see how it's just rounded right here. It's just rounded to a 45 degrees, so it's all rounded, so the head just floats on that rounded part. And it has a, like I said, 10-ply maple shell. And this is the sticker that I made. He owns the Biggie Drum Company. And he makes custom snare drums, custom drum sets. And he's an incredible musician also. He plays the drums, the guitar, and he's a business owner. So the man does it all. So this is the Biggie Drum Company custom 5.5 by 14-inch snare drum that he made. And please watch part 2 so you can see me play this fantastic snare drum. So this is Ken Loomer saying goodbye for now, and watch part 2.